in a lot of people think, and this gets circulated a lot on social media as well, and by other English pages. They think that in order to speak English like a native speaker, you need to have a lot of experience speaking to a native speaker, and that you need to have contact with a native speaker. That's not true. And it's not true that you need to speak with a native speaker. Native speakers are overrated. And I don't mean that in a bad way. So there's some native speakers watching this. I'm not dissing you guys, okay? You're especially Tino, Chris, you guys are wonderful teachers. I love your content. And I don't mean to put down the work that you guys do. But I'm trying to address the attitude that students and learners have. No. Chris is not overrated. Chris is a quality teacher not because he's a native speaker. Chris is a quality teacher because he's skilled at teaching the language. And the same thing with Tino. Both of these people are skilled teachers because they're good at their craft, which is teaching English and offering instruction. It's not, the fact that they're native speakers has very little to do with that. If being a native speaker was all it took to be a good teacher, then any native speaker could just pick up an English lesson anywhere at any time and start teaching and have really successful students walk out of their classrooms every week. That's not the case, right? I'll give you an example. Here's what happens here in Japan. In Japan, they start teaching English at schools. Their school English curriculum starts with the sentence, "This is a pen." This is a pen. Okay, think about that for a moment. This is a pen. How often is anyone going to need to say this is a pen? In what sort of a situation would you need to use that sentence? What, is there ever going to be a situation where you meet somebody who speaks English, who understands English, who doesn't know what a pen is, who sees a pen in your hand and says, "What's this?" That's never going to happen, right? But anybody in Japan, although people in Japan, for the most part, are incapable of basic communication in English, speaking it, they can say this sentence perfectly. They can say, "This is a pen." Right? But it's ridiculous. See, the problem, and the thing is, it's not that they don't have a native speaker in the classroom. They actually do. They're in Japan, they have this program called the ALT program, Assistant Language Teacher. So native speakers can come to Japan and work as assistant teachers in English classrooms at schools. So they would still have, English learners or students at schools in Japan still have a native English speaker right there with them that they can speak to during the class and also outside of the class during recess. But they still struggle with speaking English. Why is that? Right? So for a lot of you who are in non-English speaking countries and don't have any native speakers around you, you might be thinking, the reason why I cannot speak English fluently is because I don't have a native speaker around me, right? But what about people in Japan? They have native speakers right there in their classroom and they can't speak English well. Why is that? What about people who've lived in native English speaking countries for tens of years and they still struggle to speak English? What is going on? You see, it's not that you don't have a native speaker. That's not what is missing in your classroom. What is missing is you using the language to communicate in a way that is relevant to you, right? Think about this. At schools, they teach the sentence, "This is a pen," right? What if they were to change that? What if they were to change "This is a pen" to something more relevant and applicable to their lives, to the lives of the students? A typical teenager, 13, 14-year-old kid. What does a 13 or 14-year-old kid like to talk about, right? If they were to change "This is a pen," and let's say the sentence structure that they're trying to teach is "This is blank, this is something," right? What if they change the example sentence from "This is a pen" to "This is my favorite song"? This is a picture of my family, right? This is my favorite restaurant. This is my favorite food, right? Aren't those the sort of sentences that we would use day to day when we talk to other people, when we talk to our friends, right? So for a typical, junior high school student or middle school student or elementary school student who's learning English, if they learn a sentence like, this is my favorite song, this is my favorite video game, right? Those are the sort of sentences that are relevant to their lives. And that's what's going to internalize that sentence structure. Not, this is a pen. I mean, as much as, saying it repeatedly allows them to memorize it, but they never need to use it, right? So the thing that's missing in your classrooms is, let's see, Firuza says that she uses this as a pen day to day. What is my life? Right? No, in fact, Sarah, I would even say that you don't need to teach the structure. You weren't, it wasn't necessary for anyone to teach you the structure for your native language, right? You just saw people using your native language. Let's say the structure is, this is a pen, right? If someone was to say, this, hold up a pen, or if I was to hold up this notebook and say, this is a notebook, this is a notebook, and you hear or see somebody say that holding a notebook, 4 or 5, 6 times, over the course of a week, without anybody explaining anything to you, you're going to understand that this object is called a notebook, right? So it's not necessary for grammar structures to be taught. But I mean, I'm not saying that there's no place for it. There is, and it is useful to study grammar in classrooms, but that is not what is necessary in order to acquire a language, to acquire fluency in a language. Right? What you need to be doing is using the language to communicate your ideas, your thoughts about the environment around you, about your real experiences. That's what's going to internalize the language that you're practicing and using. And that's far more effective even than imagined role plays. When I do role plays in my lessons with my students, I actually customize the role plays to make them as realistic as possible for their real life. So for example, if I'm teaching, let's say a colleague of mine, let's say, it's a car company. So let's say that we are practicing invitations, right? Evelyn, thank you very much. That's very flattering. How do you teach language to a 4-year-old kid? The same way that you teach the book is on the table. In Brazil, they use the book is on the table. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, the book is on the table. I guess, if I was going to teach, I'm going to take that example, by the way. If I was going to teach something like the book is on the table, let's say the language that I'm trying to teach is talking about locations and prepositions, right? Talking about where things are. So let's say if I was teaching a person who works at a car company, the examples that I would probably use are things like, where is the job sheet? Where are the new brochures? And then we could respond with, the new brochures are in the mailroom. The job sheet is with the mechanic, or the job sheet is on the table in the showroom, right? Those phrases, those words, that set of vocabulary is so much more relevant to somebody who works in a car showroom. And these are the sentences that they would actually need to use at work if they were working with English speakers. If the reason why they were learning English was to use English at work, at a car dealership, then that's the sort of language I would include in my role plays. It wouldn't be the book is on the table. That might be relevant for somebody who's a school teacher, for example, where they'd say, yeah, the book is on the table. And that's what I mean. Language needs to be relevant to you. It needs to be related to what you experience day to day. It needs to be real in your life. And that's what's missing in so many classrooms. That is why even students who have access to a native speaker are not able to speak the language fluently. They're not using the language to communicate about things that are real to them. All right. Now, on that note, I need to get going. I'm actually going to head to the gym. First time in a very long time that I've been to the gym. So I'm super excited. But before I go, I want to remind you, if you want to practice your speaking skills, if you want to practice speaking in context about things that are real to you and relevant to you, this is what we just talked about, I would invite you to join my Facebook conversation group. It gives you an opportunity to meet other people all over the world, other learners just like you who want to practice speaking as well. And you don't have to worry about what to practice or what to say or what to talk about. I will post and create the role play scenarios. I'll create the conversation topics, and all you need to do is talk about those topics with other learners. All right. So the link to that is in my bio. So head over to my profile. You click the link. It'll show you a list of different buttons. One of those buttons is join my Facebook conversation group. So click the link in my bio, join the Facebook group. You'll have to send me a request and then I'll have to approve it, but give me about 24 hours to approve your request. And I look forward to seeing you there. I'm actually also going to be posting special coaching videos like this, specifically about little strategies that you can use during your conversation sessions with other learners, during your practice sessions, to make it more productive, and also little things that you can do outside your practice sessions to kind of reinforce the things that you learn. All right, so the goal is for all of you to take control of your own learning, to not be dependent on teachers or have the need for native speakers, or not being dependent on textbooks. I want you to learn I want you to learn English the way that language is supposed to be learned, and that is through using it. All right, so that's what we're going to do. Join the Facebook group. Head over there right now. Right now, don't wait. By the way, right now it's free. It is free. If you join now, you can continue to use it forever for free, or for as long as I continue running it. But in the future, it's going to be a paid exclusive group. All right. I haven't decided exactly when I'll be changing it over to a paid group. I'm thinking probably around beginning of next month, which is 2 weeks away. So at the very least, for the next 2 weeks, it will be free for you to join and continue using it for free. All right. If you join now, it will stay free for you. For everybody who joins later, it will be paid. All right. Thank you all so much. Mwah. I love you. You are wonderful people. And I really hope that you have a fantastic weekend. It is Saturday, right? So happy Saturday, and hope you have a restful weekend and a productive weekend. Remember, time is limited. Time is precious. Once you waste it, you never ever get it back. So don't waste any time. Work on your goals, the things that are important to you. And I wish you the very best and all the success in whatever you do. All right. All right. So I get a lot of messages from people saying, David, and you probably do as well, Christian, I live in a country where there aren't any native English speakers. I need a native English speaker to talk to. Can I just message you on WhatsApp or Instagram or Skype or something? Can we just talk? How do you respond to that?
Well, you need to talk. Yes, of course, you need to talk. You need to communicate, speak and listen, because that's why you're learning a language. I'm sure you're not learning a language just so that you can sit on your own and read books. Some people do, but not very many. But the important thing for everyone to realize is that you do not need a native speaker to practice. Again, this is something which has been drilled into us. It's so deep in our mentalities that we don't realize how ridiculous it is. And Well, I have this great interview on my YouTube channel with a guy called Marek, who gives all of the reasons why this idea of native speakers, you know, it has to finish. You know, he backs it up with lots of science and evidence, and you know, it's almost like the last what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the last acceptable prejudice, right?
Yeah.
Clearly now in 2019, you don't discriminate against people based on their skin color or their race or their religion. We've evolved beyond that. But yet, when you're learning a language, apparently we just go back 1,000 years and say, oh, you know, I don't want to speak to him because he was born in France or whatever, you know? Just, you know, realize that it's just as much of an irrational discrimination as saying, I don't want a teacher because he's black, right? It's the same thing. It's ludicrous.
Yeah. But, you know, you might even hear some people say that though, but, you know.
Sure, but, you know, we wouldn't teach those people anyway.
I wouldn't for sure. Yeah.
No, me neither.
Yeah, we wouldn't. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, Christian, we're going to cut off soon. Christian, where can people find you? Where can they learn more about you, follow you, and all that good stuff?
Yeah. Well, I have a YouTube channel and a podcast and a Facebook group and stuff. The links to everything is on my website, kangarooenglish.com. Yeah, that's it.
That's cool. All right. Christian, thank you so very much. I really do appreciate you being my guest today, and I enjoyed this chat. Time flew by a bit too quickly, though.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, right? No, it was great. Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me, and please keep spreading the word about, you know, what language learning really means.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's do it together.
Cool. Yes, absolutely.
All right. You have a fantastic week, Christian.
Thank you. You too,
and I hope to talk to you again soon.
I'll chat to you on Insta.
All right. Take care.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.